I suffer from rosacea types 1 and 2, all three types of pigmentation. I have textured skin and the occasional blemish, and to deal with these issues, I tried my first three products from Dr. Sam's in July 2020, and since then I've tried and tested out almost all our products, and in this video I'm going to tell you which ones are, in my experience, the ones that stand out, the ones that really work, the ones that I keep on buying. Hi, my name is Marisa, welcome. Since the majority of my viewers are not from the UK, let me just start with a short introduction. Dr. Sam's is a skincare brand based in the UK that was launched by Dr. Sam Bunting, which is the equivalent in the UK of a board-certified dermatologist. She has her own clinic in the world-famous Harley Street in London and her own YouTube channel. I will place below in the description of this video the links to both her website and the YouTube channel. Through the brand's website, Dr. Sam's ships worldwide, and in the UK in particular, she's also available in Space NK and Sephora. This is my skin in May 2020, and this is my skin last month in June 2026. I already had an idea that my skin was lighter because when I got the new reformulated Dior Skin Forever, I had to change the shade from 2N to 1.5N, but I only got a real perception of how much my skin had changed when I really compared these two footages. And you can clearly see that the freckles, which are not freckles, is sun damage, are much lighter. And I can honestly say that this improvement is due to the consistent use of sunscreen and these two serums, the Flawless Brightly and the Flawless Nightly, that were amongst the first products that I got from Dr. Sam's. I chose them because both formulas contain azelaic acid, and azelaic acid is a miracle ingredient. In fact, I think azelaic acid is a beneficial ingredient for all skin types because it reduces inflammation, it soothes sensitive skin, and it calms the redness of the skin. It fights acne and clogs pores, evens out skin tone, gently exfoliates, and it has also powerful antioxidant properties. So we can say that is a jack of all trades. In 2020, there weren't that many azelaic acid products in the market as they are now. And these two serums not only have azelaic acid in percentages that are clinically proven to be effective, but these serums also have other actives in forms and percentages that are beneficial to treat the problems that I mentioned in the beginning of the video: acne, rosacea, and pigmentation. And also, by using skincare products within the same line, we are ensuring that we do not fall into the risk of using actives or preservative systems that do not work well together. So the first serum that I wanted to talk about is this one, Flawless Brightly. Dr. Sam advises this one to be used in the morning, and it contains 10% azelaic acid, 5% niacinamide, 1% bakuchiol, which is a product that, although it's not a retinoid, almost acts like one, although in a much more soothing and less irritating way, and 2% vitamin C. The vitamin C that is on the serum is not L-ascorbic acid because, as expected, the goal is to give the benefits without the risk of irritation, and therefore the form of vitamin C that is on the serum is ascorbyl glucoside, which has as well the added advantage that it's more stable than L-ascorbic acid, which requires a very specific pH to maintain its stability. This has been my most bought skincare product from Dr. Sam's or any brand until now, because recently she came out with this serum, which for me is an elevated form of the Brightly, because not only it has the same 10% azelaic acid, 5% niacinamide, 1% bakuchiol, and the difference is instead of the vitamin C, it has 5 additional actives to help fight pigmentation. According with Dr. Sam's, this serum, with all the actives that has in its formula, helps fight 9 different pathways that contribute to the increase of the 3 types of pigmentation on our skin: melasma, hyperpigmentation due to blemishes or type 2 rosacea, and sun damage. And I have all 3. So when I saw the ingredients, I immediately bought it and put it on a recurring order. So the 5 additional actives that I have just mentioned are 1% ethyl resorcinol, 2% kojic dipalmitate, a more stable form of kojic acid, 2% of arbutin, which is a less irritating form of hydroquinone, 3% milk thistle, and 2% licorice. For me, this serum is a no-brainer. I finished my bottle of Brightly and I'm now using this consistently every morning and every other night, because every other night I'm using the nightly. I want to continue to use a retinoid because I think my skin benefits with it. It helps to increase turnover, cell turnover, and therefore to lose the more pigmented dead cells on the surface of my skin. I like very much the formula of this serum. It sinks into the skin very easily and quickly than Brightly. And also I found that with Brightly, sometimes if I was not careful and I rubbed it a little bit too much, it started to peel. I think that happens less with this one. Because the vitamin C that was on Brightly was removed, I started to use as well, and I'm testing both in conjunction, the Brightly Pro and vitamin C plus NAD plus. I have to confess that using a vitamin C on my skincare is almost like an act of faith. I find that vitamin C, even the most potent forms of L-ascorbic acid, are surely extremely important in terms of antioxidation properties and helping our sunscreen to work the best. But I have never actually seen an immediate effect of any L-ascorbic acid, and I have already used in the past the vitamin C from Timeless, which was a pure L-ascorbic acid. Nevertheless, since I want to tackle aging and pigmentation through all fronts, I thought that it was best to include the vitamin C, and this vitamin C from Dr. Sam's has a complex of 2 types of derivatives. It has tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate and ascorbyl glucoside, the same that was on Brightly, and they make a total of 15% of the formula, 2% Actwin, which helps repair the skin barrier and protect it against pollution and blue light, and also 0.5, or as it said in the UK, 0.5% ferulic acid and vitamin E. I love the formula. It sinks into the skin amazingly. It has a very interesting smell. It's a light smell, but it's a natural one. It smells like cloves with a slight peppery aspect to it. I love it. I love cloves. I use cloves when I'm cooking. I use sometimes cloves in the meat, and therefore I love it. It dissipates very quickly. This one I'm only using in the morning. As I previously said, I use consistently the Brightly and now the Brightly Pro, but in the past I have tried sometimes to use something different from the Nightly. My latest experiment was to try to use a low grade retinol product, which was very good, but unfortunately my skin didn't really appreciate the extra activity, and my skin became extremely red with all the telangiectasias, and now I'm back to this. I think that the reason why my skin reacts so well to this product is that it still has azelaic acid, although only in 5%, and it has 10% niacinamide and 1% bakuchiol. I don't really think my skin would need 10% niacinamide, and this percentage is probably, although to be honest I've not confirmed it with the brand Dr. Sam's, but I think it's more appropriate for those that have blocked pores, a very oily skin, and acne, which is not my case. I'm not very oily anymore, any longer. Additionally, it has 2% gram-active retinoid, or the other name is hydroxypinoculone retinoate. Gram-active retinoid works through a different mechanism than retinol or retinol, in that it doesn't need any conversion and is able to connect directly to the receptors of retinoic acid. Its efficacy is not as proven with studies as retinol or retinoic acid, but I find that in my skin, when I use this consistently at night, it really maintains, together with Brightly, my skin calm, softer, with less texture, without blemishes or rosacea type 2, and less overall redness. Dr. Sam's has released in the meantime this other serum, which is called Nightly Pro, but I have to confess that I don't really appreciate it as much, because this one doesn't have any azelaic acid. It has the same 10% niacinamide, it has 2% bakuchiol instead of 1%, and instead of 2% gram-active, it has 5%. I have used it about 1 month, and in the meantime I jumped to another experiment which I've regretted in the meantime, so I've returned back to this one. I will try once more in the future to use the Nightly Pro in conjunction with the Nightly, but I really do like to have azelaic acid at night as well. I would have much preferred, if possible, that instead of having 10% niacinamide in this formula, it would have 5% niacinamide and 5% azelaic acid, and that, I think, it would have been perfect for me. Just a short note for one product that is perhaps not that exciting for the majority of you, perhaps, but for me it really worked and it really helped me. This is Flawless Nightly Eye Serum, and until I've tried, and this is empty and it's my second bottle, I had never tried to use a retinoid in my under eye area, in my orbital area, and I tried with this one. It also has gram-active retinoid, although of course in a lesser percentage, and I found that I could use it. It didn't irritate my under eye area, it didn't make it scaly or dry, and I found that after using 2 bottles of this product, I was able to jump to Medic 8 3% retinol, which is the one that I'm using at the moment, without any issue whatsoever, which is strange. I seem to have some difficulty in using retinol on my face, but on the under eye area I was able to use and continue using the retinol from Medic 8. Go figure. But I don't think that would have been possible if I have not used this product before. So if you want to try to implement a retinoid in your under eye area, this is a good one to try and start that journey. Another product that I would also like to mention is this one, and this is the Flawless Neutralizing Gel, which I think is particularly appropriate for skin with acne or extremely oily or with closed comedones. But I got it and I use it regularly on my nose because I have the tendency to have sebaceous filaments, and I discovered that my brightly and my nightly by themselves were not cleaning the sebaceous filaments. So I got this one and I used it for 3 consecutive days, and the sebaceous filaments disappeared completely. So now I don't use it every day. I use it every other day, sometimes with 2 days in between each application, always on my nose and here on the side, and sometimes on my chin and here next to the hairline where my skin gets sicker, as in with more sickness, because I find that this product really helps exfoliate the skin and cleans out the pores, because the active ingredients that it has are 2% salicylic acid, 5% azelaic acid, 0.5% bakuchiol or 0.5% bakuchiol, and 5% squalane. If you suffer from any of these issues, I highly recommend this product because it does not irritate the skin whatsoever. The only thing I have to be careful with it is not to apply more than 3 consecutive days, or else the skin will start to peel off, and that's not what I want. So at maximum I can use like 2 days consecutive, then I give 1 day of rest, 1-2 days of rest, then 2 consecutive days, and it's enough to clear my pores and my sebaceous filaments. I highly recommend. I have an extremely sensitive skin, and this works for me and it doesn't break my skin. And finally, I have to mention the moisturizers from Dr. Sam's, the Moisturizer Intense and the Moisturizer Balance, because as soon as I tried them, they became immediately some of my favorite moisturizers, and I always have them amongst my portfolio of moisturizers, and believe me, I have many because my dehydrated skin is a continuous issue. So when she released Moisturizer Intense, I immediately started to buy the biggest sizes and use it practically the entire year. The only time I didn't use it was on the summer when the temperatures were extremely high, in which I only used the sunscreen as moisturizer. But now she released the Moisturizer Balance, and I found that this one is really good for high temperatures. It's not as heavy, but it really hydrates and almost gives a refreshing feeling to the skin. Both of them sink into the skin and I don't feel any film on the surface of my skin, which is really good. And this is it. My voice is starting to get a little bit frail, but I really hope I was able to transmit to you why I find these products so good and so appropriate for all the issues that I've mentioned throughout the video. If you have any question regarding all the other products from Dr. Sam's, with the exception, as I said, of the body cleanser and the micellar water, please feel free to leave below on the video, on the comments, your questions, and I will be very happy to answer to your doubts. And if you like this video and you think it has added value, please give it a thumbs up, hype it, leave a comment below. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to discover this video and to present it to other people that have the same issues as I do and may gain by learning about this brand and these products. I would like to thank you very much for the time that you have just spent with me, and until the next one, bye!